We good? All right. Welcome to a special session of the Granite Falls School Board. The time is now 6 p.m. on June 20th. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we have Director Dane, Director Ledoux, myself, Director Kincaid, and Superintendent Dana Giesland. I would like to make a motion to excuse Director Carey.
I will second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. We are going in for our first interview with Eric. Is Eric on? Eric, can you hear me?
Should now be.
Yes, I can.
Eric, can you tell us how to pronounce your last name?
It's yeah.
My last name is Gochner.
Gochner. Okay, welcome, Eric. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. All right, we are going to go into our questions. You have 1 hour for your interview. And I have a little timer here so I can let you know when we are getting close to the end. We're going to go in round robin, so each of us are going to be asking you questions. So the first question this evening is, please tell us about your background and why you are interested in seeking a position on the school board. And in your opinion, what qualities and skills make a person an effective board member?
So as far as my background, I'm almost 40 years old now. I've got 21 years career experience as a firefighter. I spent 8 years in the military, 4 in the Marine Corps, and 4 as a Navy corpsman serving the Marine Corps. I've got my associate's degree in fire science, and I'm currently a captain for my department, and I provide training to the department. Let's see here. Let me go to the questions. And what qualities and skills make a person an effective board member? I believe that being an effective board member, you need to be able to listen to the public's concerns, and then respectfully work as a team within the board to be able to address the concerns. So for me, my kids are just getting to school age. My second one's going into kindergarten, and it's a big deal for me to ensure that not only my concerns, but the rest of the parents' concerns of the community are being addressed and heard.
Cool. Let's see. And yeah, thanks again for joining, Eric. This is good, and it looks like it's, well, I guess it's sunny here right now too, so it's beautiful where you are as well. Okay, so what's your understanding of the primary roles and responsibilities of being on the Granite Falls School Board, and why do you want to be a member?
So my understanding is that the school board is basically part of the checks and balances for the school district, and ensuring that the working with the administration and ensuring that not only concerns are being addressed from parents, but checks and balances, and making sure that the administration is doing as they're supposed to do. I'd like to be on the board to ensure that, like I said previously, not only my concerns and my wife's concerns are being addressed for our children's sake, but also all the other parents in the community that don't have an opportunity to voice their opinion in a way that they feel it's being heard.
Thank you. Okay.
What do you consider to be opportunities and challenges of the Granite Falls School District? And what do you think the most pressing issues are affecting the district?
Well, I'd say one of the challenges is being a smaller school district. I'm sure money is a concern, and being able to fund the schools properly and adequately.
I can read it again if looks like your phone went.
Sorry, I was bouncing back and forth between the questions that were emailed to me.
Okay.
As far as the most pressing issues for Granite Falls, I am honestly a sponge. I'm willing to learn and willing to hear. And my daughter just finished up kindergarten. We had a fantastic experience with her kindergarten teacher, and we were honestly pleasantly surprised. I'm sure the more I got into it, I would see things that I thought could use some tweaking and some correcting. But we've honestly been thrilled with our short experience so far.
Right. As a board member, what will give you the greatest satisfaction? What special interests do you have?
For me, I think the thing that would give me the most satisfaction is ensuring that our children have a safe place to learn and develop and become young adults, and making sure that they're getting an education that is setting them up for a successful adulthood. And the second part of that, as far as my special interests, I think that athletics are a huge part of growing up and learning how to be a good team member. Working together, it not only teaches them discipline at a young age, but how to work together as a team and how to accomplish a mission as a group. I think for me, that is something that's very important for school-age children to learn.
And apologies too, if you're just seeing, at least I think all the tops of our heads, we're just taking notes as we're hearing as well. So we're not staring down, I promise. Okay, so having a public position puts a spotlight on you in a small town. So it requires you to address, hot button items. Oftentimes the board must deliberate over controversial topics. So let's say there's a topic you disagree with the majority vote on the board. While shopping locally, you're confronted with an upset parent who thinks the same as you. How would you handle the situation?
Well, I would let the individual know that I respected their opinion, and that I appreciated them acknowledging and addressing me about their concern. I would ask that parent to reach out to the board as a whole and ensure that the rest of the board was aware of their opinion. And that's something as a board that we should be addressing anyways, is the children, the well-being of the children and the parents that are raising them and the concerns that they have. So I would tell them that I would be happy to bring their opinion back to the board, but I think it would make more sense and make a bigger impact if they shared their opinion with the board themselves.
Sorry, it's on two different pages. Parents as well as staff will come to you with emotionally charged feelings, concerns, questions, etc. How will you handle controversial discussions regarding the school district in public, including social media or in private?
Well, I think the biggest thing here is to be completely honest in a respectful way. By being honest and not hiding issues and sharing your concerns in a respectful way, I don't think that you're ever going to get yourself in trouble. Both between the military and the fire service, I've ran into issues like this many a times, and staying calm, hearing the concerns, trying to calm the entire situation, and then just letting them know that you hear their concerns and you'd like to talk about it more. There might be situations where you have to take a break and calm down and take a little breather, but addressing those concerns head on and being honest, I think, is the way to go.
What do you see as the board's role versus the administration's role in running the school system?
So as far as the administration, I see their role as basically operations of the school and ensuring the day-to-day stuff is running smoothly, and that they're taking care of all the financial situations of the school, making sure that supplies and facilities and everything are ran smoothly, and the kids are being educated properly. And then for the board, like I used previously, there are checks and balances, ensuring that that is done properly.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to make a little typo correction on 8 as well, because Director Veach, who was leaving the role, was actually just recently voted in, so there should be the remainder, like three more years, I believe. So is that correct, Dana? Do you know?
So he wouldn't run this November, it'd be the
It'd
following
be November 2025.
Okay, so it's still a
Yeah.
2-year term.
Still-
Okay, so if nominated, so then I won't correct it. If nominated for the remainder of this 2-year term, would you seek public election for a full 4-year term after? Why or why not? And yeah, not this November, but the following November.
Absolutely. My plan is my kids are just getting into school and I want to be vested, and we live here. This is our home. My parents live here. We're raising our children here. My brother and his kids are probably moving here. This is Granite Falls is our home. And like I said, my kids are, everything to us. And I want to be vested in this community. And my plan is, if I'm put in the position to help with the board, that I would be running again.
Thank you.
Bird has something to say too.
Yeah, got a bird in the background.
Does your schedule allow for necessary reading, meeting preparations, monthly meetings, and conference committee time? For board members asking, wow.
Some details about the time.
Oh, my gosh. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, it wants me to tell you about that. So there is quite a bit of pre-reading before every meeting. There's information about the state of Washington and how our funding models that each board member should be researching, reading to come up to speed. There's WASDA conferences that we prepare for, conferences that you'll need to go to get education, but more importantly, to make sure that we're here for every meeting, or as many meetings as possible, so that we have a quorum and we can work. So with that said, back to that is, does your schedule allow for the necessary time for reading, meeting preparations, and monthly meetings, conferences?
Absolutely. My work schedule is very flexible. I schedule all the training for my fire department. It's easy for me to pick dates that both work for the department, but also for me. And if there's a day that I need to be at a conference or a meeting that needs to happen, my schedule is very flexible, and I can make that work. I'm home every night. I don't work the normal 24-hour shifts like firefighters do. I'm on days, Monday through Friday, so my evenings are always free. If I need to come down to the school, I can pretty much drop everything. My parents live next door to us. They're a huge help. They can help with the kids if need be, and my wife is very supportive as well.
Okay, we appreciate your responses to our questions. Are there things that you would like to share that we may not have asked or you feel are important for us to know when considering your candidacy?
I'd just like to reemphasize that this is my home. We're vested in Granite Falls and the community. Everything that I've ever done career-wise in my life has always been to give back to the community. I would love to be a part of the team and be part of the school board for Granite Falls and do my best to address any concerns that the public has. That's about it.
Okay, well, you have given yourself ample time for my question here. What questions do you have for us, right? You've got us for some time. If there's anything in particular you want to learn the ins and outs, if there's anything that's running through your mind in terms of what is it like to be on the board or anything, now's the time, speak or forever hold your peace. Ask the questions that you've been dying to ask about just anything here. So any questions for us?
Yeah, I think that's the big one is what is it like to be on the board here? And kind of a follow-up question. What concerns or issues are you trying to address currently?
Who wants to start?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, sure. We'll take the round robin.
Our school board is interesting in that we all come from different backgrounds. We are all very different people with different viewpoints on things, but we work really well together and we tend to listen to each other really well. And we may not agree on everything, but the beauty of us is that we hear each other out and we're very respectful of each other. So I appreciate that a lot. I think for me on the school board, what I came here for and what I'm still here for is my passion with working with parents and getting parental involvement and that whole communication factor, communication with parents and teachers, and admin, everybody, just getting that communication factor down so everybody has all the information they need when they need it and they are comfortable talking to each other. So that's kind of been my passion project, is just that whole parent connection.
Cool. So what's it like to be on the board? Realizing, you're effectively 20% of one entity, right? You're 1/5 of the voting power to, help through some of those issues that you're talking about, whether it be finance or particular policy or something along those lines. And so it's, to Carly's point, we do work really well together. I would actually say agreeing is not something that we feel that we have to do with each other. And that's very apparent in a lot of the meetings that we have. We do a lot of, disagree and commit, okay, I can see how this could be the best path forward. So we'll move forward with that. Being on the board, it's, expect the random Facebook messages, expect the random phone calls. That's going into like my concerns are, I get those, I get plenty of them. I still also don't feel like the size of, each of our districts that we cover, that we get enough, right? To your point, our job is being the liaison between the community and the school district. And there's this common misconception that the board is effectively employed by the school district. We are not. We are, like we said, a community liaison. And so the best work that we can do is when we're mostly intertwined with the community. So that is one of the struggles that I personally deal with, is just making sure, again, I'm answering all the phone calls, emails, everything that I get. It's just, I would like to see more of them. And so it's generating that groundswell of people actually coming to you and talking to you and sharing their thoughts, their feelings. And oftentimes I'll sit down with somebody for coffee and I'll learn a lot, but they'll also learn a lot too, because there's, public office is a strange creature in terms of what's allowed, what's not. And if you join the board, you'd learn all about the Open Public Meetings Act and stuff like that, that kind of some of the constraints that we have to deal with as well. Concerns primarily, though, if I'm going to as a board member, finance, you brought it up, smaller district. We're a growing community. I've said this in previous board meetings. There are two truths that we just can't avoid. And one is we're growing. And I know a lot of people don't want to grow, but we are growing as a community, right? There's going to be new houses being put in. There's going to be this, that, and the other. It's an imminent, being that we're going to face. And then the second part here too is that, money's not getting any cheaper as well. And so as we are looking to grow the district as well, there's going to be a point where these walls are too small for us, right? And then you combine that with the fact that money's an issue. Now we have a conundrum, right? We need to find ways to resolve that. And so those are some of the biggest challenges that I would say that we're facing here in the coming years, is just making sure that being that liaison between the community and the school district to ensure that the proper infrastructure facilities are being constructed for the students so that we can create those educational outcomes that we're looking for. Nobody wants to cut sports. Nobody wants to do anything like that. We want to keep the district growing all across the board in every way, shape, or form. And so that's what I would say is mainly top of mind for me. Is I'm effectively trying to boil the ocean, but I figure, why not? If I'm going to be in the seat, why not? Right? You got to thinking small is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's me.
Okay. So, and I am the newest member of the board, and there's a lot to learn. If you are selected to come on, there's a lot of things that are perceptions and misperceptions about how a board, this board, or school board runs. I've been an active member in the community here in Granite Falls for 40 years, and I also am on a fire department. I'm the assistant chief of this fire department, and being out and representing the community, understanding how a board works is super important. But it also, one of my reasons for being here, I put my kids through school here. I wanted to help effectively raise the school scores, the academic achievements of the school, but also make sure that every voice is represented. We are, as Peter said, growing community, but we're also a growingly diverse community, and making sure that everybody's respected here is super important to me. Making sure that as a board, we're supporting our administration and using our voice to help guide the administration, but not to undermine the administration, which has happened here in the past, where we've had conflict between administration and the board. And that's something that, as a board member, I'm hoping that we can completely avoid. We do work really well together, and we are, as my two colleagues here have said, we're from completely different worlds, right? Our backgrounds are completely different. And I think our reasoning for being here, though, is the same. We're just looking to make Granite Falls School the best that it can be under the constraints of our finances. One of the biggest challenges for me that we have coming up is that we have a bond measure that is going to expire in a year, and we have some huge needs. And one of our challenges as the board is to recognize those needs and be ready to go out to the public and support construction bond and growth bond that will help us get to the future. And so as a part of the board, we're going to be looking for all the support we can to get out and educate the public on why it's important to put $100 million bond on the ballot and support that growth for the school in 5, 10, 20 years. Because where we're at today, we're not going to support we don't have the infrastructure to support the growth that's coming, and the growth is coming super fast. Just working with the city, we have a sewer moratorium that's going to fall off. That will be dropped in about 18 to 24 months, depending on how the new sewer system sewer plant. What's that?
They said May on Monday.
Oh, well, then they're way ahead of schedule. So with that, construction in the city limits is going to just rapidly increase. It's been on hold for years. And there's an awful lot of contractors sitting there with property waiting to get sewer permits to start building. And it's just going to take them a couple of years. I mean, you being where you are, you've seen construction, you understand how growth is going to work. Granite Falls is going to blow up. And we have to be prepared to go out and sell to the public the reasons for us needing an awful lot of money to get our growth. And that's kind of one of the leading things I'm here for, is to make sure that we get through that and move on into the future.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah. Other questions?
Somehow you're
I
muted.
think
No, we're not
we
hearing
can't
you.
hear you, so hold on.
I know Snow.
Oh, there we go.
There you are. Oh. We're having trouble hearing you.
I think you're
I
on
know
now.
Snohomish County is expecting a growth of approximately 300,000 by 2030. And a good handful of those people are going to find their way to Granite Falls, and we're going to have to grow with it. So it's coming.
Any additional questions that you had too?
Not right now. I know in the future, if I get the opportunity, we'll have a lot of questions.
Yes, fair enough.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Eric. We appreciate talking to you.
Yeah.
We are going to go on a break now until 7:10. And then we are going to this evening, we're going to make a decision this evening. Yes. Oh, did he go away? Is he still there? Oh, okay. So we'll be making a decision this evening, and we'll be giving you a call to let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. It was nice to meet everyone.
All right.
To meet you as well. Thank you.
Either way, I'll see you out there.
All right. So we are going to go on a break until 7:10.
Little sunglasses on.
You are good.
Okay. Is Lachey on there?
They are, let me. Them to a panelist.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite too.
So good for you, yeah.
I can't wear it.
There's rules.
There we go.
Wonderful.
Hello there.
Hey.
Good evening, Lachey. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So just kind of brief before we go into this, we're going to start asking you questions. We're each going to kind of take a question and ask them to you kind of round robin style. You have 1 hour, one whole hour to answer all of these. And yeah, I think that's it. So I will start with the first question. Please tell us about your background and why you are interested in seeking a position on the school board. In your opinion, what qualities and skills make a person an effective board member?
Sure. So I've been in education for 12 years, initially as a special education teacher, then principal, as special education director as well, and most recently focused on school improvement. I've been supporting the Granite Falls School District for the past 3 years and recently moved to the Granite Falls School District myself when my husband and I became empty nesters. I've raised my children and have been an active member in my local school community prior to moving to the Granite Falls School District, volunteering and observing school board meetings in the Riverview School District. And now I'm seeking the opportunity to support Granite Falls in a similar way. My adult children are looking to start their families and move to the area as well, and it's my hope to help support Granite Falls in the school district in whatever way I can. Certainly on the school board would be aligned with the qualities and skills that I have in working with schools thus far. Some of the qualities I think make a school board member effective include communication skills, so actively listening, engaging diverse communities, promoting transparency, collaboration and teamwork, super important, valuing diverse perspectives, and obviously as a member of the board, working together for common goals. Ethical leadership with accountability and decision-making as key components there, and strategic thinking and planning, setting those long-term goals, evaluating performance, leading towards improved educational outcomes. Financial literacy and budget management, with that fiscal responsibility for the overall district health. Problem solving and decision-making, commitment to equity, adaptability, community engagement and advocacy, and commitment to student success. And those are skills and qualities that I would hope to contribute as a school board member as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, and I'll say this, as I said to the last person, you'll see a bunch of the tops of our heads. We're just taking notes. We're not ignoring you, I promise. So, okay, so what's your understanding of the primary role or responsibilities of the Granite Falls School District Board, and why do you want to become a member?
Yeah, I think the primary roles and responsibilities include setting the vision and goals. I think that involves sort of defining those educational priorities, establishing strategic objectives, and ensuring alignment with district values and community expectations, policy development and adoption. I think budget oversight and financial management, hiring and evaluating superintendent, establishing performance expectations, community engagement and advocacy, engaging those stakeholders, monitoring district performance, including reviewing student achievement, graduation rates, et cetera, making those data-driven decisions, legal and ethical compliance, collaboration and professional development. And the reason that I want to be involved is to give back to community at a time in my life when I've raised my children and have ample time to dedicate to ensuring that our school is excellent and preparing students for their future. And ideally, my yet to be brought into this world grandchildren as well.
All right. Thanks for being here. What do you consider the opportunities and challenges of the Granite Falls School District And what do you think is the most pressing issues affecting the district?
Some of the opportunities I think really revolve around community engagement and support. I think there's a rich history in Granite Falls of strong partnerships with community. And I think there's opportunities for innovative teaching and learning practices. I think there's opportunity for career and technical education expansion and opportunities for professional development. I think some of the challenges are related to budget constraints, which are widespread and certainly specific to smaller district size. I think some challenges are related to student achievement and equity gap, perhaps focused on specific categorical student groupings. I think retention and recruitment of educators is an area of challenge, as are infrastructure and technology integration components, as we are a growing district by just geographic size, and social and emotional well-being, as we have learners coming out of pandemic still. I think one of the other challenges that is perhaps yet to be seen is that we are a district who has an interesting timed balance with leadership change and upcoming bond expiration, and the need to really make some quick community trust building efforts made in order to welcome new leadership in community trust building activities in order to ensure that trust is in place to pass future bonds.
Thank you.
As a board member, what will give you the greatest satisfaction? What special interest do you have?
I think for me, as a special education teacher, I would say that inclusion is a special area of interest for me, and continuous improvement is a special area of interest for me. So really focusing on education for all learners, regardless of learning style or how students come to our district, ensuring that they have access is important. And in terms of continuous improvement, ensuring that we have cycles of improvement. So whether that's a designated plan, do, study, act cycle, or feedback cycles of community engagement, so that we are regularly getting that feedback in order to inform our practice, are important areas for me. So perhaps that looks like community engagement, perhaps that looks like participation at a legislative level, but I would say inclusion and continuous improvement are areas of special interest for me.
Great. Okay. So having a public position puts a spotlight on you in a small town, requires you to address many potential hot button items. So oftentimes the board will deliberate over a controversial topic. And let's say there's a topic in which you disagree with the majority vote of the board. While you're shopping locally, you're confronted with an upset parent who thinks the same as you. How will you handle this situation?
Not an unfamiliar situation for me, having been a principal, and also not an unfamiliar situation for me being the wife of a firefighter in the same town that I've lived in for many years. So small town politics are not new to me. However, I am new to Granite Falls. I think the best approach for me is to listen and respectfully engage with that person. Avoidance does not solve any of those issues. Clarifying the role and the decision-making process for the board. So I think really validating their feelings, but helping them understand that decisions are made through a democratic process involving multiple perspectives and considerations can be helpful. Maintaining professionalism and neutrality is important. Offering transparency, explanation if that's appropriate, and just encouraging constructive dialogue. I think it's also important to remember that confidentiality and boundaries are important. Depending on the nature of the conversation, and follow-up is also important.
Thank you.
All right. Friends, parents, as well as staff will come to you with emotionally charged feelings, concerns, and questions. How will you handle controversial discussions regarding the school district in public or social media and in private?
I think that those two questions are very similar.
Very
Or at least
similar.
my answers, at least my answers are very similar, I should say. And I think they would both apply. I really feel like addressing them head on is appropriate with a respectful and clear response, listening and validation, clarifying whatever is unclear about decisions if it is related to decisions, otherwise listening with empathy and validating feelings, offering transparency, encouraging constructive dialogue. Again, I will say that in my professional career, education is not my first career. Previously, I was the 911 operator, and I've handled a number of emotionally charged people on the other end of the line. And while in person is different than the other end of the line, listening ear and sometimes repeating back what people are saying can help them reframe what they meant to say. So sometimes that is an effective strategy. I would also say that identifying a shared goal can be really helpful when someone is emotionally charged or distressed, and oftentimes in the school setting, just reminding that we both want what's best for kids is a great way to help diffuse an emotional situation. If the way we're going about getting to that shared goal might be very different, but when we can remember that that is really what we are both working towards, that can help us get to a productive place to move forward.
What do you see as the board's role versus the administration's role in running a school system?
So the school board is focused on making policies that govern the operations. So like setting a framework for the district to operate within that aligns with legal requirements. Strategic planning, so setting those goals and priorities, monitoring the progress towards those, fiscal oversight, so making, funding prioritization and ensuring transparency about fiscal operations, hiring of the superintendent, providing guidance and support for the superintendent, and ensuring accountability for meeting those district goals, and community engagement. So the school board is the liaison between the community that they represent, the students, families, and taxpayers, and the district. So their job is to gather input, address concerns, all of those things, and also to communicate out achievements and celebrations and challenges. I see administration's role as to implement those school board policies and directives, and to oversee daily operations and to ensure compliance. Also in the kind of educational leadership component, so to develop the curriculum standards, instructional strategies, professional development, and to promote positive learning environments across all of the classroom settings, and to manage the budget in the day-to-day operations, and obviously keep the school board informed of the budget and fiscal operations, and manage the staff. So the hiring and evaluation and supervision of principals and certificated and classified staff, and community relations, because they are the spokesperson for the district. So to interact with the community and foster those positive partnerships, and address concerns that are brought before them as well.
Okay, so if nominated for the remainder of this 2-year term, would you seek public election for a full 4-year term after? And then so why or why not? It would be the following November, so 2025.
Yes, absolutely. I'm new to this area. My husband and I have just, as I mentioned, joined the Granite Falls community, but I was actively involved in my local community prior, and am a new empty nester with quite a bit of time on my hands. So my intention is to be actively involved, and I would be interested in seeking election for the next cycle, and intend to run whether granted this position or not.
Thank you.
I think you've answered this a couple of times, but we'll go for it. Does your schedule allow necessary reading, meeting preparations, monthly meeting, conferences, committee time? Because, and I think you have an idea of what the board is doing, but with all of the things that we have to prepare for meetings, the information that is sent to us prior to the meetings, reading through policies, revision support, going to WASDA training. How's that all going to fit into your time? And you've said empty nester several times, and you have lots of time. So, but I'll answer it again.
Yeah, I know. Fair question. So I currently am an independent contractor, so I'm in 100% control of my own schedule. So yes, have no problem there. And knocking on retirement door, but you don't quite feel ready for that either.
All right. Well, we appreciate your responses to our questions. Are there things that you would like to share that we may not have asked or you feel are important for us to know when considering your candidacy?
I think the only thing I would share in addition is that as a parent, I have 3 kiddos myself. Each one took a very different path in education. So I have 3 kiddos, 2 of which took well, I guess one took a very traditional path through education, one took an alternate path through education, and one took a very alternate path through education. So I come to this work understanding sort of a variety of what high school completion can look like, and really valuing each of those paths. So I really appreciate the diversity that is offered through the Crossroads and the Open Doors program, as well as the value that's offered through the high school program. So knowing that all of that is very much supported by the middle school and the elementary programs, I appreciate the diversity in each of those, and just come with that experience. So as a parent, rather.
Okay, you have plenty of time yet to pepper us with any questions that you have from your side. So feel free, whatever you came prepared with, we're happy to answer anything.
I think I would actually just kind of love to ask each of you one of the questions that I was asked, and that is, what do you think is the most pressing issue in the district right now?
Which way?
I'll start. And so for me, and the way I've answered this in the past is our pressing issue is getting our academic achievement higher, but it's also to prepare us. And you mentioned our falling off. So my words, but bond. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And educating the community and preparing us for the next level of growth that we need to do to keep up with what is going to be a rapidly growing community in the next couple of years. And so, that is my focus. Also, it's just to make sure that the board maintains our position in allowing the administration to run with our oversight, but not to get in the way of that, and then to be here for the community.
Thank you.
I would start with the end in mind. So, right, what's the outcome that we're looking for? And at the 30,000-foot view, it is how can we best prepare as many students as possible for the next chapter in their life, right? Once they leave these doors, whether it's through Crossroads, Open Doors, the high school, how are we preparing them from K all the way through 12, whether they're going into a trade, whether they're going to university, whether they're going into the military? How do we best prepare them going forward? And then that in the struggle there aligns with, even in a vacuum itself, that's difficult, but we don't live in a vacuum, right? We have growth. And with growth comes financial implications, and with financial implications and that growth comes, where do all these students go? Who do we bring in to teach them? How does it, and so all of those together, every decision that I ever make on the board always has to go back to, how does this affect a student's outcomes, right? And so that's really the lens in which I look through this, because that's, in my personal opinion, the only reason why this exists, why we exist here, is to help K through 12 be the best prepared that they can be going forward. And so the biggest issues that we're facing do have to go with the growing community, right? As that continues to come in, the way the school funding model, the prototypical school funding model is not as cut and dry as people would like to believe. It's not just because more people are coming means that all problems are solved and all funding is there. Sadly enough, we thought McCleary would fix that, which it has yet to prove. And so that's a growing issue that we're facing. So finance is always, on the top of our minds, and it's not because we want to grow a fund balance just for the sake of growing a fund balance. It's because we want to still maintain. We want the community to have a say in what the schools are doing. Right. And you use the term that I use, right? The board is a liaison between the community and the school district. And we need to make sure that we're doing that to the best of our abilities. And so that challenge of gathering that information and then leveraging that outcome of, the best student outcomes possible. So my view.
So my view is, all of the issues that are brought up, whether it's bonds or levies, whether it's test scores, and all of these things can't happen without a good parent partnership. And that is kind of my passion project here on the board and why I came here to begin with. So that's one thing that a few years ago when I joined the board that I noticed that we had kind of a disconnect is that parent involvement, parent communication, making sure that parents are paying attention to what's happening with their children in school, that they're having good communication with teachers and holding teachers accountable. Also, informing the community about the needs of our district and the struggles that we have with, whatever it may be, finances, bonds, levies, et cetera. So I would say that, just that whole parent partnership communication thing, and communication with each other.
What other
Thank you.
questions do you have for us?
I think that about wraps it up on my end. I appreciate the opportunity to interview. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. We are going to go into an executive session for about 20 minutes. I think we will come back at 8:00, or go into executive session, come back at 8:00, and then we should have a decision to make. And then we will let you know this evening.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right,
Thank you.
We are just coming back on to say that we are going to extend our whatchamacallit? Executive session. Thank you. Until 8:15. All right, we are going to extend just for 5 more minutes. Thank you. All right, welcome back to our special session. We are going to go ahead in just a moment and make our vote. But first of all, I would like to thank Lachey Lee and Eric Gochner. Is that what he said? Oh, I got to learn that. Gochner. Thank you so much for interviewing with us. We appreciate both of you. So going into our voting, does anyone have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Eric Gochner to the Granite Falls School District Board.
Okay, is there any discussion? No. Okay, we'll go roll call. So we'll start with Director Day.
I vote yay for Eric Kocher.
Okay, Director Ledoux.
Yay.
And Director Kincaid, yay. So that makes the vote unanimous. And that means that Eric Gochner is our new board member. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. That adjourns us at, I don't have my clock now.
8:25.
8:25.